What's going on, Mixalong Gamers? It is Benson, and today we're going to be ranking the top 5 perks in Cold War zombies. If you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe, all that cool nonsense. Speaking of that, Fox, Monster Killer, subscribe to me, and if you do, I'll shout you out. Plus, I won't come to your house and beat you up with a baseball bat. But other than that, gamers, check the description for the Discord, Twitter, just to make sure you see all the nonsense, and just to see when I stream and all that. But other than that, gamers, let's rank them. To start us off, we have Elemental Pop. Now, I know a couple of you are like, why Elemental Pop is tier 5? Let me tell you guys something. This perk is absolutely amazing. I mean, this thing activates so much extra when you use your abilities like Shatter Blast and Brain Rot. You know, obviously the really good ones. But, I mean, ranking this off, starting with the tiers, Tier 1, equipment damage also has a small chance to apply a random base ammo mod effect. So right now I have Shatter Blast as one of my mods. I have the chance to activate Napalm Burst, Cryo Freeze, Brain Rot. Any of the other ones you don't have equipped also gets an extra chance of having that as well. So if you're not really satisfied with one, there's a small chance you can have that actually turn into something else, which is pretty cool. Definitely something different in Cold War, something really nice that I like personally. Tier 2 is reduced ammo mod cooldowns by 20%. Pretty straightforward, really good. This helps on higher rounds specifically, and the lower rounds you're mainly going to be doing a lot of damage, but this is going to help out a lot. Tier 3, when ammo mod is applied, it uses the ammo mod's current skill tier instead of the base. This is really useful because, well, it's not just going to be tier 1, it's going to be, you know, tier 5, which is really useful. Tier 4 of this is where it really spices and picks up. Increase enemy elemental weakness by damage by 50%. If you guys don't really realize this, okay, zombie health maximum is about 60,000. If you reduce the amount of health, technically speaking, by 50%, their weakness, so if you have an armored zombie, if you use Shatter Blast, they're 50%, you know, more likely to die faster. They're going to take more damage. In actual terms, this is really great. I really like it a lot. Tier 5, reloading creates electric damage, which is ultimately electric chair. I mean, not much to say about it. Stuns a lot of enemies. Pretty good. Let's get into Tier 4 gamers. Tier 4 for our list is going to be Juggernog Soda. This is a really good perk, don't get me wrong, but it's not as good as the others. Starting off with our tiers, we have Tier 1, which is reduced status effect durations by 50%. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. If you get hit by a Megaton, the splash effect isn't going to, you know, burn you as long. Tempest, Panzers, it's not going to affect you as long. They're still going to affect, but 50% less. It's pretty useful with those, you know, higher rounds or when you're playing the maps that have a lot, especially in Outbreak. This is really, really nice. Tier 2, armor plates replenish 25% additional armor. This is really, really useful, especially, you know, if you're starting out Cold War, this is really nice to get because, you know, you get extra armor, extra ability, super nice, really useful, not much else to say about it. Tier 3, increase maximum health by 100. This is really where Juggernog is, you know, that's literally the perk. That's what it's supposed to be. Instead of 150, you get 250, which is super useful. Main reason why most people upgrade Jug is just for that extra, you know, health. Tier 4, on the other hand, is armor durability increased by 25%. This is really hand in hand with Tier 2, increases, you know, extra durability. Tier 5, on the other hand, we get that extra hit. Basically, if you're near a Megaton or a zombie and they hit you when you're on 50 health, instead of downing you, it'll go down to 1. If you are, you know, hit another time, you're going to be taking an L. The reason they did this, you know, get that extra health benefit, and also you can hear when this affects. It's really useful. Jug is pretty good, but there are betters. Other than that, gamers, let's get into Tier 3. Here's where things are going to start to get controversial. My Tier 3 is going to be Quick Revive. Some others might put it in Tier 2 or even Tier 1, but for me, it's going to be a solid Tier 3. This is an absolute beast of a perk, really good, but in my opinion, there are better. Starting off with Tier 1, down crawl speed is increased by 100%. This is useful for co-op, you know, if you have slow teammates. Not really for solo, really useless. Tier 2, on the other hand, is reduce the delay before health regen starts by 50%. This is an actual really great tier of Quick Revive. Not many people really think about it, but having that extra regen is a lot, honestly. It's really, really useful, and not really too many people think about it, and it helps on the higher rounds. Tier 3 is reviving an ally will also give you full health just like they do. So when you pick them up, they have full health, you get it as well. Tier 4 is basically the same thing, but both of you guys get a speed boost with a successful revive. Pretty useful, pretty nice. You know, it is really useful in co-op. This perk has been kind of specialized just for co-op alone. I mean, 3 out of all the tiers are just straight up, you know, co-op tiers. You know, you don't really need to crawl too fast in solo, but tier 5 is really where it shines. Instead of dying when down without a self-res, or even with the self-res, you can use quick revive to hopefully kill an enemy on the ground to revive yourself. So ultimately, if you're playing solo, quick revive is going to be your perk to get usually most of the time. If you don't have enough for high salvage for quick revive, just like in the gameplay right now, you can just literally just shoot an enemy and it works. Let's get into tier 2. Tier 2 is going to be Stamming Up. I don't care what anybody says, this is one of the best. It's my personal favorite, always has been, but in this situation, we're ranking them based off of utility, and this is coming in at tier 2. I mean, this is an absolute beast of a perk, but let's get into the tiers itself, right? Tier 1 grants us increased backpedal speed, so every time you walk back, instead of being really slow, you can walk back pretty fast. Pretty simple, pretty useful. Tier 2 is immunity to fall damage. This is literally PhD flopper without splash damage. You can fall from as high as you can and not die. It doesn't really have an effect of to which the gravity if you're falling at, you know, the position, how high it is. You're always going to get a immunity to fall damage. It's super nice, super useful. Tier 3 is walking faster with aim-bound sights. Not as useful, really useful for RPGs, launchers, LMGs, snipers. Really good for that, but it is Cold War. Not really too useful, I will admit. Don't really like this. But the upper tiers, tier 4 and 5, are really what makes this perk shine. Tier 4 is using equipment while sprinting. This seems really simple, but genuinely, it is such a great use. You can run while using a Simtex, stun grenade. You could pre-throw monkey bombs when you're running around, so you can kind of loop around if you're camping, which is really, really nice. But also, tier 5, remove sprint speed fall off. You could sprint forever. Literally, sprint forever with extra 7% increase to sprint. This is amazing. Whoever thought of this at Treyarch really needs their ding dong sucked, because, I mean, who thought of this? Sprint fall off? I love it. I really do love it. But honestly, let's get into tier 1 gamers. Ladies and gentlemen, tier 1 is Deadshot Daquri. What a turnaround for this perk. I don't care what anybody says, Deadshot Daquri is the best. Every tier for this is absolutely amazing. If anything, this is our double tap within Cold War. I said it. Look, be mad at me all you want, but Deadshot is the superior perk. Every time I play Cold War, I'm getting this perk. Every time I want to load up a map, I'm getting this perk. Any situation, I'm getting this perk. It is absolutely amazing. And honestly, gamers, here's exactly why. Tier 1 for this is dealing 100% extra critical damage if an enemy is at full health. Anytime you shoot at an enemy at the head, bam, extra 100%. In terms to make you guys really, think about it, say you have 50,000 damage. Instead, you have 100,000 damage extra. This is just a retrospect to put in your mind and think about the actual utility of this perk. Tier 2 is increased damage against armor pieces by 50%. 50% extra to armored zombies. This is really useful against panzered, armored zombies, especially if you pair this with Shatter Blast. Amazing. Tier 3 is reducing hip fire spread. Really, really useful for SMGs like in this gameplay, or also shotguns, which everybody uses. Tier 4 is increasing critical damage by 10%. Pretty straightforward, extra 10%. If you have 10,000, rather than just a little extra, it'll have a little bit extra for that for you. Tier 5 is each consecutive hit on the same enemy does 2% more damage at a maximum of 20% damage. This is really useful for bosses. You can max out a lot of extra damage and save you some time. But gamers, if you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe, all that cool nonsense. Check out everything. If you made it this far, you deserve a cookie. I love you. But on that, gamers, I'll see you guys next one. Have a wonderful day. See ya.